WandaVision is an interesting case where my feelings for a TV show constantly flip-flopped as it progressed. This is mainly due to how much, and later how little, Marvel trusted us with a TV show that broke many conventions of your typical MCU movie. And just to get it out of the way, no, I'm not upset with this show because Mr. Fistus didn't show up or whatever. I've since watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier and it was... But my mind kept going back to WandaVision, how much I feel it surpassed Falcon, but also where it stumbled more the closer it got to the finish line. And that's a real kicker, isn't it? The last impression I have of this show was a mixed bag. See, I feel that a piece of media, if strong enough overall, can overcome a bad first impression, but having a bad ending, that's always going to stick with me. It's why my opinion of the Star Wars sequels has really soured, and why you don't hear people talk about Game of Thrones anymore. But WandaVision is critically acclaimed overall, so I feel it more interesting of a discussion to focus more on my frustrations with the series rather than my praises. Plus, YouTube loves discourse, and as a middle child, there's nothing I love more than causing trouble to get attention. Also, I'm gonna play footage of Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, because it is my shit. And also, I don't want to get pounded in the pooper by copyright strikes. So it's kind of cliche, but I feel the best way to talk you through my thoughts on WandaVision is chronologically, to give a sense of how my expectations and overall feelings kept fluctuating. See, the first 2 episodes of this show dropped simultaneously. I feel this was a deliberate choice due to how slow of a burn the show initially is. The marketing spoiled how weird things get as the show goes on, so it's possible Disney got cold feet dropping only 1 episode, where the weirdest thing is that mom from that 70s show is still alive. Things begin to escalate in episode 2, but not by much. WandaVision's intent is to keep viewers engaged by being more of a thriller that relies on personal drama rather than action. It trusts us to want to keep watching as the plot slowly unravels. I'll be the first to admit that I initially was bored by these first 2 episodes, and my girlfriend's interest in the show helped me stick it out to episode 3 where things really pick up. Episode 3 introduces us to Monica, who the show places a lot of importance on until it all but entirely gives her the shaft at the end. She technically debuted as a kid in Captain Marvel, which I haven't seen because I hate women. Monica's struggle with the sudden loss of her mother runs parallel with Wanda losing vision. But Monica also has great potential to be a foil to Wanda because of how Monica's better processed her grief. At least it would be if we went deeper into that aspect of her character. Episodes 1 and 2 demonstrated that Marvel trusted us to be interested in this mystery, so surely they would trust us to figure things out as we go along, right? Nah. Episode 4 just spoon feeds us everything that's happened on the sideline since before episode 1. Like, it takes so much time to explain that, look, that guy that went into the sewers was that beekeeper dude. Yeah, no shit. He was the one character that had a big-ass stupid helmet on his head. And then, of course, it keeps cutting back between Monica's sidekicks on the radio and Wanda in the show. Oh, and now Monica has 2 D-list characters from the other movies to serve as her sidekicks, so that's fun. Suddenly this feels kind of condescending to watch, like suddenly the show doesn't trust us to figure things out for ourselves. But anyway, Pietro shows up, he's not really Pietro, and it turns out that it was an illusion created by the real villain, Agatha Harkness. See, Agatha may have been around since episode 1, but I get such a strong feeling that she was written in as a cop-out. Let me explain. Wanda's been doing some fucked up shit to these townspeople. In fact, they drive that home in the finale. If Agatha didn't exist, Wanda would still be the protagonist, but she would also be the villain of this story, and I think Marvel really pansied out of that idea. I think it would have been a much stronger story if Wanda was the protagonist and Monica was the antagonist. Not that Monica's evil like Agatha is, but her intent is to stop Wanda from causing any more damage to innocent people. Her motive runs counter to Wanda's. Monica clearly relates to Wanda on a personal level, plus now she has powers that could possibly make her a match against Wanda, but the show just did not want to commit, and shoved her off to the side only to have her show up while Wanda is too busy fighting Agatha. It feels like a missed opportunity to have these two really clash. In fact, Wanda's and Monica's fight could theoretically conclude the same way the Vision's does, by fighting less with their powers and more with their conflicting ideologies. Wanda wants to stay in this safe place that she's created, even at the cost of others' lives. This is the case when she tries bargaining with the townspeople in the finale. In the final show, when all is said and done, Monica just lets Wanda go because she would have done the same? What the fuck? She ruined these people's lives. I could understand Wanda giving her the slip, but no, Monica just lets her go. Oh, and then it's implied that they were really just setting up Monica for a completely unrelated movie. WandaVision was a good show, but it's clear that Marvel was not interested in following through on what could have been a much greater conflict about two people grieving in different ways. Maybe Doctor Strange's involvement made the final show feel more deliberate, but I think if they wanted to ditch him in favor of making the story more about Wanda and her grief, they could have done so much more. I know I've sounded upset and even frustrated for much of this video, but that's only because this show accomplished something that the movies never did. It made me appreciate Wanda and Vision as their own characters, outside of all the crossovers and events. Furthermore, it made me appreciate a piece of media that wanted to stand out from the typical Marvel formula. I only wish I could have appreciated it more.
You can